Hello everyone, I'm going to show you today how do you add a collection of products to a single page. You can see right here I have my pages Hello World. That's just the title of my page, and I have some generated content right here. This is just a lorem ipsum generated content. It's just a regular page, and if we go look at this from our admin panel, online store, pages, this is what it is. All right, and this is just using the page template. What I'm going to show you to do is how do you add a collection of products right here. Now, if we take a look at the page in our admin panel right here, you'll notice that we don't have any sort of tags that we can tag our page. There's not a whole lot of metadata that we have access to. We really just have the title and the page contents, and that's about it. So what we have to do here is we need to, at the very bottom, this is just the strategy or the method that I'm going to show you how to do, is I'm going to put in here all caps, collection. And then I'm going to put in the handle of my collection. So I'm going to put in here men's. Let me show you what I mean by handle. Let me save this. It's going to be men's. If I go over to my products here and go to collections, what is a handle? So this is men's. If I look at this men's collection, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, edit website SEO, you'll see that this is the handle. I'll show you where that gets used in the code. And just for comparison's sake, let's go look at women's dress. What's the handle for women's dress? We see it's women's dash dress. All right. What we just did is we added that handle to our collection, or excuse me, not our collection, but the handle of our collection to our page. We had an uppercase collection and then men's. Now it's important that this right here is the exact handle of the collection that you want to see on that particular page. All right. Now let's go into our themes here. I'm going to edit debut because that's what we're looking at right here. This is the debut theme. Pages hello, and edit code. Now where is the code for this? And let me just close out all of this. If we go into our left-hand side, under our templates section right here, this templates folder, go to page.liquid. And this is what it is. It's not a whole lot. How can we tell? Let me just delete this real quick. Make sure, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to just remove something to see if this is the actual piece of code that we should be looking at. If I refresh, oh, it went back to my different preview. So give me a quick second here. Let me go to themes, and let's just preview from here one more time. The URL, pages, hello world. There you go. We don't have any content. It's gone because I deleted it from here. Now if I undo that and save, refresh, here it is. And now we see we have our collection down below here, which isn't something that we necessarily want, right? But we need that there because let me show you what we're going to do here. We're going to write in our code. I am going to write some liquid code here that what it does, and let me just show you real quick here first, and then I'll explain it. I'm going to create a variable, so assign, and I'm going to say page content array equals page content. So this page.content right here, this will give you the contents of the page. So that's just something that you have access to based on Shopify's objects that we have access to, the liquid objects. And we're going to have this thing that's called a filter. Add this thing that's called a filter. Split on the word collection. Now you can probably guess where this is coming from, right? This is, if we go to our page, that's what we're grabbing. And what this does here is this piece of code, it splits the page content based on where it finds this collection. So what it essentially does is it creates something like this. We have our content. Oh, that's pretty big. Let me just see if I can make that smaller. Here we go. That's okay. We'll do it that large. Where it creates this array, and the first thing in the array is the lorem ipsum, right? And so it's the lorem ipsum, just like that. That's the first thing. And maybe it's actually better if I don't use my annotations here. Give me a second. I'll just write it out, code right here. It creates this array. Let me just copy this. And this first thing is the lorem ipsum part, right? It basically says, okay, anytime you get to the collection word, or if you find that collection word, go ahead and separate it out. Meaning that this top part right here is going to be separated from what comes right after that collection word. So we see we have our lorem ipsum right here. What it does is it says, okay, we have lorem ipsum, all the rest of that content, and then we have mens. That's what it essentially does, this page content array, by doing this split. Now, because we know that, to get something out of what's called an array, what we can do is I'm going to assign page content equals this array, and then we want to get what's called the index of that array. How do you access, again, how you access, I'm just going to write some gibberish right here. How do you access the very first element, what's called an element of this array? You do an array 0. You get the name of that array and you put 0 in there. Because in programming, you start counting at 0, not at 1. That means that if we do page content array 1, that should get us mens. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So I can literally just copy this, paste it. Let's just give this page collection. And these variables, you can name these variables however you want. That's just what I'm naming them. Put page 1. So this right here should return mens. However, you have to be careful. Be careful about this, because if we go look at our page, I'm just going to open this up in a different tab here. If we open up the hello world, it looks like great that you can just grab mens, but truly behind the scenes, if we click on the show HTML, there's actually HTML tags. And notice how we have these P tags right here. Mens has a paragraph tag right here as well. So when you do your split, you're actually splitting up the HTML. And if we do split up on collection, what comes right after collection? It's this P, mens, and P tag. So what we have to do is we actually have to, let's go back into our code here, is we can't just leave it like this, because we're going to get those P tags. So we need to strip HTML, and this is just a method that is available to us, and then strip new lines. These are just two methods that are available to us that Shopify allows us to write when we are bringing in a string. All right. Now this should really return only just the mens word, the handle. Now what we can do in here is this page content. Let's just set it to page content, page underscore content, and save it. And if we refresh our page, let me close out of that other tab. Now we don't see that collection mens anymore. What's neat is what we can do now that we have the mens out of here, that's what the page collection does, we can start writing our code. And I'm just going to start writing, I'm just going to add my own HTML code here. You can figure out the styling. It's not going to look pretty, but let me show you. You can say div class equals page width. This is where you'll have to figure out how you want to style, how you want your collections to look. Class equals grid. And then let's just do a quick h1 tag. Page collection. So we can see what is the value of our page collection. Oh, it can't just be that. It has to be surrounded in curly brackets. There you go. This should return men's. Let's find out if that's true. Refresh. There we have it. We have men's. And again, it's not centered. It doesn't look the prettiest, but I'm just wanting to show you how do you add products in here. You can figure out the styling on your own. So we have men's right here. That's great. Now this is where we write some code in here. What are we going to say? With our curly brackets and our percent symbols for product in. Now, just about everywhere throughout your code, you have access to this collections, what's called a collections object. And what you can do is say something like, let me show you. You would put something like men's in here, do dot products. You want to end your for. And let's just do a quick paragraph tag here. And say product.title. Just like that. I just want to show you what that looks like. If I refresh, oh, we're not seeing it in here. Collections. Oh, because I have a typo. There you go. It's product, not product. There we have all of the products of men's basketball. And if I do women's, or we saw earlier women's dress, I think it's women's dress, or maybe it might be women's dresses. Yeah, here it goes, women's dress. We see sundress, cocktail green. We now have access to this product right here. So we're just naming this whatever we want. We're saying for each one of that collection's products, do something. So we could say, and let's just make this look a little bit prettier. Div class equals grid item. Let's say this is medium up 1/3. Div. And that's the product title. If I save that and refresh, sundress, cocktail green, and then we can add an image here as well. All right, so image source equals product. Let's grab the featured image, and I'm grabbing this. I'm not writing this. I'm not just making this up right here. Let me just show you here real quick. Let's make this a large for the image filter and save. Let me refresh. There you go. We now see the images. And where am I getting all of this from? This is really coming from our documentation. If you go to the Shopify documentation, look at the liquid reference. You look at the objects right here, and we go down to products or product. Everything on the right-hand side, these are the different attributes or the methods that you can call on the product object to return a number of things. Like we have featured image right there. All right, so it becomes very useful if you are familiar with the documentation. And it's not terribly hard. It's actually really simple. One of the better documentations that I've seen for an application like Shopify. All right. So we have our sundress, we have our cocktail, we have green right here. And if we really wanted to, if we look at our product right here, we should see that there is a URL, product URL. If we really wanted to, we could, let's just surround our product title right here. And maybe I'll just put that on a separate line so it looks a little bit neater. Say href equals, I'm going to end it first. And in here, within those double quotes, you can say product.url. Save it, refresh. Okay, it's now links. And if we click on it, let's just click on cocktail, or let's just click on sundress, and I'll just show you either way. This is our sundress. And then we'll click on cocktail. Perfect. Click on green. It brings us to that product page. All right. And this should work for any page. Now let's just go into our pages. Now that we have our code right here, feel free to pause it and copy it. But if we go into our page right here and we add another page, let's just call it foobar. You all should try. Give university theme a try. Please subscribe to my channel. And then again, remember you have to add collection. Be very specific about that. And women's dress. Save it. And if we go look at this page now, view on your online store, I hope we get this. We do. Perfect. It didn't preview my other theme. So this is still the debut theme. You should give university theme a try. Please subscribe. Women's dress. And if we just change that, because I know we have it right here as well. So if we just change this to men's shirts, for example. Oh, save this. Now in our foobar page, it says men's shirts. Why is it still showing me sundresses? Oh, that's because, something I forgot to do. Let's go take a look at our code. I did not do this. I think I should have it be calling something else, because right now it's only calling women's dress. What it should do is it should grab the page collection. So let me grab that page collection. Save. It's a good thing we tested this. Refresh. Oh, see, now this is now previewing a different theme that I have. Let me just preview one more time. Go grab our page right here. Page is hello world. This is men's right here. And then if we go into foobar, these are men's shirts. And if let's just go back to our pages here. Hello world. Let's have this be women's. I think that's one. I think that's a collection. So, sorry. Hello world. Perfect. If I refresh, there you go. So on the Hello World page, we're looking at women's shirts. And then in our foobar page, let's just go back here. Click on foobar. We're doing men's shirts. And just to show you that it works, let's just say shoes, because those are the handles of my collections. If I refresh this one, there we have it. We have men's shoes right here. And then in our Hello World page, we have women's shirts. So it's dynamic. It's based on how you want to, or whichever collection handle you have right here. Meaning that your pages, you can have many pages, and each one of those shows a different collection of products. And it wasn't that much code. All we had to do is make sure that we come up with some sort of convention right here. So we have a convention in our contents. And then in our piece of code, or in our code, edit code, go to page.liquid template, and we had to add these up top. That's how I did it, where you split that page content by collection. You grab the first part, and then you grab the second part. Make sure you strip HTML, strip new lines. And then this is all we added. So we're now referencing this, which is coming from up top here. And then in our collections page collection, that right there is pointing to whatever that handle is. It's now dynamic. And if we go to our collection page, you can create a link. You can view the image right here. And really you have access to all of the, right now that you have access to the product object, you can do any of these things. You can put the price on here if you'd like. You can make the entire image a link if you'd like. Completely up to you. So now that you know how to show the collections products on a page, it's really whatever you want to do with it. You want to make it look nicer, style it, completely up to you. But now you know how to add a collection's products to any one of your pages.